There's no African religion that teaches Africans to worship their forefathers and their ancestors. Ancestors are a historical connecting cable to the creation that happened before we became.
If you're living your own life, if you are who you are and you know who you are and you live working towards realizing your mission in life, every sound of it out of your mouth is a prayer. Every gesture you make is a prayer. Every dance you dance is a prayer. And when you make love with somebody, you are praying. If you know who you are and this person knows who they are, there isn't anything that you do that is not a prayer. When you know.
Start with me, man. Okay. All right, everybody, welcome to the Dummy Effect podcast. Let's talk about religion in Africa. What a topic, eh? Yeah. All right, so Pope Leo to visit 4 African countries in April. So we are in January, February, you are in March, so next month. Crazy. Okay. So Pope Leo to visit 4 African countries in April. I don't know how I feel about this, but let's continue. Let's look at this let's look at this topic and then read this article, and then we're gonna watch a couple videos. All right. You don't want to know what I think about this, or what I think about religion in Africa. I feel like Africa is religion is actually killing Africa. We think too much. We focus too much about religion in Africa. And when it comes to religion, everybody is in the church. Everybody goes to the church every Sunday. Everybody focused way too much when it comes to church. Yeah, when it comes to church, we as Africans, not that as Africans actually, but black people, church is like part of our lives. Like, it's like our lives. Me personally, I grew up a strong Christian, but right now, but don't tell my grandma though. Don't tell my grandma, because yeah, I'm gonna get some prayers. They're gonna pray for me like heavy. All right, without further ado, let's read this article and then we watch some videos. All right. Pope Leo, the X1, the XIV, I don't know what number that is, man. Come on, please leave in the comment section what that number is. I don't even have that. I know X is 10. This is 1 and this is 5. So 10, 1, 5. I don't know, man. Come on. Pope Leo, the dad, will begin a 10-day visit to Africa, to 4 African countries on 13 April, making his first pastoral trip to the continent. The Vatican has announced, so that's the announcement that the Vatican made. He would travel to Algeria, Cameroon, Angola, Equatorial Guinea. Out of all of the countries, 3 of them are French. Algeria, French and Arab. Cameroon, French and English, but most people know Cameroon as French. Just the name Cameroon is French. And Equatorial Guinea, I think it's French too. Yeah, something like that. Yes, sounds. So in Cameroon, the Pope will visit. In Cameroon, the Pope will visit the capital Yaoundé, the economic hub Douala, and Anglophone city of Bamenda. In the Restif Northwest region. Oh, what's the meaning of Restif? Let me see, because I feel like I don't want to say. Okay, let's look at the definition of Restif. Search. No, I don't want to copilot nothing. It's much stuff. Web search. Restif. It says Restif. Put it here so we can all see together. Restif. A person unable to remain still, silent, or submissive, especially because of boredom or dissatisfaction. Hey, what do you say about us? What do you say about me, Mr. Popman? The crowd had been waiting for hours, and many were becoming restive. Well, I don't see it, but technically, the reason why I'm focusing on that word, because that area is where I grew up. That's my area. This Bamenda is where that's my city. That's my, I'm from Bamenda, and it's been going through some chaos lately. I think that's the reason why he wants to go there. Okay. So in Cameroon, the Pope will visit the capital Yaoundé, economic hub Douala, and Anglophone city of Bamenda, in the northwest region, where an armed conflict has been raging for nearly 10 years. I should have read the whole sentence. Yeah, so it's been going through some chaos lately. So the fact that he's going there, that's actually something. Okay, I feel like, okay. Religion sometimes do some things correct, but okay, but just we're gonna have to wait and see. So in April, he's gonna be going to go. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. Let's continue though. This is the first time. This is the first time that the Pope will visit Algeria, whose population is mostly Muslim. Nice. In December, he expressed his desire to visit the continent, citing Algeria, the birthplace of Saint Augustine of Hippo, as a potential destination. The pontiff belonged to the Augustinian. The pontiff belongs to the Augustinian religion order and had previously called for interfaith dialogue in the North African country. Okay, I'm not going to highlight that thing again. Why it will be the Pope's first pastoral visit to Africa since assuming the leadership of the Catholic Church. He is no stranger. He's no stranger to the continent. As Cardinal, Pope Robert man, we don't need all that history, but yeah, okay, so basically he's going to be traveling to Africa. That's something being I mean, we all know how Africa is when it comes to religion. If you don't know, at least you know how black people are with religion especially when it comes to Christianity. It's a problem for us. All right, it's a problem for us. Well, without further ado, let's watch some videos and then react to what people are talking about when it comes to religion and black people, or when it comes to religion in general. Okay, but history tells us that we were pagans as Africans before Christianity was brought to us. It's crazy that's the first video we're gonna start with. That's crazy.
But history tells us that as Africans we were pagans. Before Christianity was brought to Africa, we were worshipping demons and witchcraft and all these things. Is that true?
All African, when you pick up the book, by the way, there's a chapter I put there for African names of God in the African space. And when you get to that chapter, you discover that African traditional religions are all monotheistic. Unkulunkulu, Umvelinqangi, Mudimu, Ramasedi, Mngari, Gainyame, Onkopon, all those names. They don't talk of a plural God. When the white men found an African kneeling under a tree in prayer, they said he's worshipping a tree. There's no African religion that teaches Africans to worship their forefathers and their ancestors. Ancestors are a historical connecting cable to the creation that happened before we became. Therefore, I am Joshua, the son of Lazarus. Lazarus, who is the son of Marara. Marara, who is the son of Maponga. Maponga, who is the son of Munyuki. Munyuki, the son of Muchena. Muchena, the son of Nduma. Son of Nokwara. Son of Chapinduka. Son of Mwenemtapa. Son of Tobera. Son of Murenga. From the great kingdoms of Guruswa in Embo, the sons of Nangashe were in Ethiopia now. Who are the sons of Ham in your Bible? The sons of Cush, the sons of Adam, the sons of God. Now, when you understand that our ululations of our African genealogy is not worshipping ancestors, but recognizing those who were here before us, connecting us to the one who made us, before we became. Then you say in African worships ancestors. There's no African religion. There's no African spirituality that teaches you to worship your forefathers. It simply says, call on them. And by the way, there's no African prayer that does not end before you say, please tell the one who created you to deal with this problem. Therefore, it's what we call sacred history interpreted in European construct. When an African calls his forefathers, just like a Jew says God of Isaac, God of Jacob, God of Abraham, and etc. An African, and by the way, white people don't know the Bible because they don't have ancestors, they don't have surnames, they don't have totems. When they say Jesus of the tribe of Judah, they don't know the other Jesus is Mtaung, so we cannot help them. Because even the construct of the text itself challenges their culture, which they don't have. When your brother dies, please go and marry the wife. A white man does not know how to do that. But in African, it's culture. When boys are of a certain age, please go and circumcise them. A white man does not know how to do that. A black man knows how to do that. Now, how can you wait for a white man to tell you what is in the text when the culture and the religion of the text is not European? 80% of the Bible is polygamy. The white man does not know that. He comes down with the monogamous concept on the end. Then we start teaching cheating and etc. on the left and create media around that. So let's not waste our time. What we now believe as Christianity, Mchana, is European culture. Hey, umntanami ngeke aphume lapha endlini engafakanga ingubo emhlophe. My daughter will not leave this house until she's putting on a white dress. Because the mother now thinks that a white wedding is superior
to a
to a
traditional
black wedding or a cultural wedding. So here we are in Senton right now, 300,000 young boys and girls sleeping with each other, 2-3 children later, because they can't afford 250,000 to go and hire Aventura or Avante for a wedding, to do a white wedding.
Oh, man.
Are we practicing Christianity? Or this religion we have accepted, this Jesus we are talking about and this God we are talking about will not accept a black man until he becomes white first.
According to the Bible.
Then God can deal with him. Because if you bring your traditional drum into the church, Jesus will run through the door. Because he does not understand this. If you come dressed up like a Zulu into a church, the elder will find a tie for you and a jacket so that Jesus does not get traumatized.
So the reason why I'm really not talking and I'm just watching this is because some of these things I myself I'm still unlearning the Christianity that I grew up with. So when I see videos like this, it's always interesting to me that I really have to pay attention and actually watch to understand what they're trying to say. I'm not just a sponge to just absorb everything. I watch it trying to understand the context they come in with, trying to understand what they're trying to say and all that stuff. So when I stay quiet is because I'm also trying to understand. So it's a reaction thing. I don't have to talk the whole time. I mean, it's an experience that we are having together. So let's have the experience.
These are the realities we need to start talking about as Africans. That are we saying what we've accepted as Christianity is Christianity, or it is actually European culture? Can you ask me? And I'll tell you that 60 to 80% of Christian practices is European culture.
Yeah, that's true too.
A man who gives you herbs to drink is a witch. A man who aborts your wife and takes the fetus to make tablets and give you back to drink is a doctor. And your government says this is a witchcraft act. It's not witchcraft as a noun. It's witchcraft as a question. Witchcraft are you using?
Oh my God, what the hell?
I'm getting nervous because that stick keeps pointing at me, and I've got a feeling it can end up hitting me if I say the wrong thing.
Oh, man.
In the book, you say the white God does not hear black prayers unless we are presented in a European way. What do you mean? Because
Let's
we've
hear
been
that.
praying all our lives.
Because the African child is not at liberty to present himself before the white God without changing his culture first. Then we understand that Christianity has to do with the sodomizing of the African culture. Because when an African approaches God as an African, Jesus cannot accept them. Therefore, religion is founded on cultural transformation, economic transformation, political transformation, fashion transformation, pharmaceutical transformation, spiritual transformation. Because as an African, God cannot deal with you, Mlapa. If you come out as a Tswana in your Tswana underwear with a stick on your shoulder and you walk up to church, half of the church will run through the door. But they cannot deal with the African until he has been to Edgar's and Markham's and got himself a tie and a jacket to be accepted. When I make those comments, I'm saying we must be careful that when we buy bread, we don't swallow the plastic also.
Yeah.
Eat the content, but the packaging of the gospel. But the way, while we are on that, let me be very clear that Christianity is colonialism.
Definitely. Most
Because
definitely.
had the Muslim been here before Christians, ask me what you will have been. Talk to me.
Muslims.
Go to Egypt if you don't know. Go to Kenya if you don't know. Go to Tanzania if you don't know. Go to Malawi if you don't know. The populations are Muslims. Why? Because the colonialists who came had the same complexion, the religion they brought. So don't tell me I'm a Christian. Say I'm a colonized Christian. So that's what it is all about. Had Allah been here and Muhammad before Jesus was, you'll have been saying Allah Akbar and equally convinced that there is only one God but Allah. And I love Muslims, by the way. If you believe that when you die, you go to heaven, the Muslim says, can I kill you and we go together? Then the Christian is always not ready to die.
Yeah, man. This thing is it's actually true what he said about Christianity being colonialism. Because the way I see it, there's this thing when you're born in Africa, they give you, there's like names, you have to have like at least 3 names. So there's your father's name. So you have to have like at least 3 names. There's your father's name, your name, and your English name, which is usually known as your Christian name. So you have 3 names at least. So the Christian name, you have to have the Christian name. Most people don't even like to use their traditional names because it's almost like it makes people almost look you or see you like, I mean, that's before, not now. Most people are woke now. So most people, even me now, I even hate when the people call me by my my English name. But I'm so used to when somebody asks me my name, I quickly just say William, which is what I say now is that's my slave name. So I don't like saying that. But when I say William, I quickly just say no. Actually, take this name. This is my name. Call me this. And yeah, so I feel like that's the thing. They colonize. They make us feel like our names are not really our names. They make us start having Christian names or English names, and that's why you see most Africans have like there's your Christian name, there's your father's name, and then there's your name. 3 names, which is crazy. But shout out to South Africans though, because most South Africans I know don't really have like Christian, don't really have like this the English name, especially the ones that are not really, they'll say they are not civilized or something like that. They only have like the traditional names. they'll have like one or two. I think it's one or two names, but they are all tradition. It's not. They don't have like the English names and stuff like that. Very few South Africans actually have like English names, and that's a nice thing.
And I think all religions, be it Christianity, be it Islam, the whole pilgrim age story to Mecca is not meant for anything else except just to focus the Muslim mind to the black stone and leave everything else behind and walk around as a group and do some chants around the group. For the moment, you are not yourself.
Yes.
You are a group of an army that is fighting the wars of Allah. Allah Akbar. You know, we are all in one space. Christians, go to Rome, go to camp meetings, go to retreats, go to what? Trying to do the Buddhists, go to the mountains.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, the secret is they're trying to quieten the mind. But in the African space, our expression is different. It's the sound of the drum. It is the dance. It is the stomping of the ground. It is the sweat. And imagine when you are stomping on the ground, the stresses that you are letting go of your system. It's not just an exercise, but literally the whole body is beginning to get a vibration around where I am and where I am coming from. And in some certain cases, in the moments of those dances, your kundalinis begin to arise from the lower part into the space of the spirit. And other people have been able to translate, transform, transport themselves into spiritual realms during some of those dances. And the drum must be loud enough so that it blocks away all other patterns of thinking. There's no way you can think when the drum is playing. No, boom, 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 boom. And the syncopation, you're trying to think, where is my rent, where is my what? And your mind is telling you, not now, not now. And the minds of the community are channeled into a certain common space, where in there, when you come back later, you're tired and you can rest and sleep and find that spiritual comfort that we find. So it's different ways. And I think all
Facts.
You see, in Africa, I hate to talk about religion. Be careful. Religion is a business. In which they sell God. And this business works very well for whoever sets up the shop. Okay? Now, when we're talking about voodoo, we're not talking about a religion. We're talking about understanding your profound nature so you can be and live as who you are. Nobody can come and tell you, well, hey, you want something? I'm going to see that one. Give me $5,000 and I'm going to call God up there and, tell him. No. And this is something that sometimes I found so sad, that we have a lot of people who claim to be Hungan and practicing voodoo. And they're doing the same business as the Catholics, and, they're trying to turn it into a religion. Spirituality, nobody can teach it to you. You need to get the fundamentals of any books, any spiritual system. You can get the fundamentals and then look at inside of you and then determine how you are going to use the fundamental principles to improve your life. But nobody can tell you, you must pray every Friday, you must do this every Saturday, you must do that every Sunday. No, because what is good for you is not necessarily what I need. You may need to go into yourself and meditate 100 times a day. And even the same person will not need it the same way all the time. You, in certain circumstances, you need to be meditating and finding all your forces, gathering all your forces continuously certain days. And then other days you may not even think about it. It doesn't mean you don't pray. Because everything you say, if you're living your own life, if you are who you are and you know who you are and you live working towards realizing your mission in life, every sound of it out of your mouth is a prayer. Every gesture you make is a prayer. Every dance you dance is a prayer. And when you make love with somebody, you are praying. If you know who you are and this person knows who they are, there isn't anything that you do that is not a prayer. When you know.
Start with me, man. Okay. But yeah, please leave a comment down below and let me know what you think about all this. What you think about the Pope coming to Africa to visit those 3 African countries, even though I feel like the fact that he's gonna be in my city where I was born is actually crazy, but yeah, it's conflicting type of views type shit. But anyways, leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe. See you in the next one.